Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our session today, this very morning. I know it's a little bit early for some of you, and also it's a little bit later for some of you as well. I see some very familiar names, so most of you I've talked to before, so thank you so much for being here. Just before we get started, there's a few things that we'll let you know about the session. Again, we have so many amazing webinars lined up across all most of our titles. And if you have any questions, I will leave our contact information after this very presentation. I promise we'll keep things very interactive. I have listed the contact information for our Asia team, but if you are not from the Asia team, that's completely okay. You're still very welcome to reach out to us, and then we will connect you with the right representative or the DLCs for your region. Again, my name is Kaofang. I have an education background. I used to be a preschool teacher before joining McGraw Hill. And I'm very excited to be sharing with you about our admin perspective and all the things that you can do to support your schools today. Very briefly about our agenda today is I'm very excited to share with you some new updates regarding our digital platform, our OLP/Connected, something that you've heard of many, many years before. All of you are very, very experienced. And then after that, let's walk through the admin login through a storytelling pace where we're going to walk through what you would potentially be doing in the first week of school / first day of school if you prefer. We'll go through the managed products, managed class roster. We'll walk through the new, amazing, very easy to walk through rostering template. And then let's go through the class roster. We'll go through the reporting aspect of our digital platform. And then after that, I've created some scenarios that we'll walk through together. I won't promise that we'll get through all the scenarios depending on how good we are doing with the time. And then last but not least, we'll do a quick Q&A. So yeah, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to submit them through the chat box. We'll try to address as many questions as possible. Again, I know all of you are very, very experienced. We'll also talk about the different circumstances about if your school is an integrated school, what are the differences and what step you potentially would skip during this very webinar. But without further ado, I will start sharing my screen from an admin perspective. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to be locking in using my McGraw Hill internal. So you would not be logging in through this very method. What you would do is you would go to my.mhb.com/login. You would log in with your username and password. I'll try to go as slow as I can. If you do not know your username, if you do not know your password, that's completely okay. All you have to do is you would have to reach out to us. We'll retrieve your username, we'll retrieve your password, and then you will be able to log in no time. If along the way you have any issues with the login, if any of the students are losing their password and you need to retrieve your password, we can do multiple things. We can either walk you through on how to retrieve the student password as an admin, or we can also retrieve your student's password for you. McGraw Hill is not only here at the beginning of the academic year, but we're actually here 24/7, 365 days a year, and we're always here to help you. Okay, so now that I have logged in through my admin portal, you're going to start to notice that it looks slightly different. One reason being is because I actually not only have an admin access, but I also am able to log in as a teacher as well. And if you are assigned both an admin role and a teacher role, you can click your name right here. So my name is Kaofang DLC, and then I can actually toggle between my admin portal and my teacher portal. In this case, I want to show you the teacher portal first. So first of all, if you have experienced this already in many, many years, you would start to notice that actually the first um the first auto login page looks different. Usually you would be led to our platform that's called Connect Ed, which hosts some of our older programs such as Wonders and Glencoe and all of that. But you'd start to notice that actually we don't see that page anymore. And how come? We actually have combined both Connected and OLP together. The reason is because we know in the past it caused a little bit of confusion about the teachers having to go back and forth between the two. So what our team had done, and I think it's an amazing update, is they actually have combined both. So you start to notice that there are some of our Connect Ed programs listed down below in which teachers can either wait for the admin to roster them to these courses, or they can also click redeem Connect Ed products, and then they can still input the same old master code procedure, and then they will be able to access their course accordingly. Or they can still click create class, and then they will be able to create all the classes that are hosted on OLP and Connect Ed. If you have any further problems or further questions about what programs are hosted on Wish, you're more than welcome to also ask us about that as well. But to keep things at the least of confusion as possible, both platforms have been combined. So I'm very excited to share this with you, and this is probably something that your teachers will be very excited to see when they come back to school. All right, so that's what I wanted to cover in terms of the Connected slash OLP. What we're going to be doing right now is we're going to imagine that now we are 1 week before school starts or the first week before school starts, depending on when is your preferred time of rostering and taking care of the licenses. All right. So I know a lot of schools this particular year, especially, they actually prefer to roster the teachers first because the teachers need to prep for the materials. If you prefer to do so, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll roster the teachers before the student licenses start date starts. So what I'm going to be doing right now, and I'll try to go as slow as possible, is I'm going to be clicking my name. I will click the role administrator, and we're going to wait for this to load for us to be now we are in our admin portal. Any information that you are seeing today are all demo accounts. So no student information will be exposed. All of this is our demo account that we use for customers to trial and also for us to do demos and live demos and webinars for the customers such as today. Our academy that we use as our demo account is called Hirsch Academy, and I am going to be walking you through. So the first thing that you probably want to check when you come back to school after your wonderful summer break, hopefully after your wonderful holidays, is you would probably want to go in and check your managed product first. The reason being is because the school might have purchased different products throughout each year, and you want to go and make sure that you have everything all ready to go activated. So the first thing that I'm going to be showing you is I'm going to go to manage product, which you can find through the left-hand bar right here and go to manage product. So I'm going to click manage products. And now you would be able to see absolutely every single product that the school had purchased. Either you have purchased in the previous year and it has not expired, or you have purchased for the new year. You want to check for a few things. You want to check if you have teacher's edition for all of the courses that you have purchased. So you want to go and then, okay, so for Alex Adventure, check, I have the teacher's edition. For Alex, check, I have the teacher's edition. The reason is because if the school chooses to also have the student edition as well, it is crucial that you have the teacher's edition as well to be able to activate all those beautiful student edition. So in this case, okay, I have checked that I have all of my teacher's edition. Everything is all good, ready to go. A few things that you can request for as well is If you don't want to go in individually to each one of your license. So for example, if I don't want to go into the Alex Adventure manage and then check the start date, end date for absolutely every single one of them, you can actually request for your DLC to export your product list with the start date and end date of every single product all displayed in one sheet, all ready to go. That's one thing that you can all request as an extra help as well. I know that there are some questions submitted to the chat box. We'll get right into it right after the session. Okay, a few things that you can check when it comes to checking who's consuming the licenses, what licenses you have for the next year is you can also click teachers list, and then you can check which teacher is currently consuming the license and who is not consuming the licenses yet. Okay, all right. So again, that's our managed product. It's probably one of the first things that you want to do when you come back to school. Check if you have everything all ready to go. If you notice, and this is in a very rare occasion where you don't see some of the titles that the school had purchased for those particular academic year, please, that's no worries at all. That's something that we can definitely help with. Please go ahead and reach out to either your reps or your local DLCs, and we'll get everything right and started for you. Okay, a few things as well is if you are not able to see any of the products on your managed product, that's no worries at all. That could be due to a few reasons. One of them is your school or your district has multiple schools under the same district. And not all the products are spread across all the districts. You might have to click district and then toggle in between each campuses or each district to find all the managed products. But this is no worries at all. I promise everything has been processed accordingly. Okay, all right. So that's regarding managed products. One of the first things that you want to check when you come back to school on the first week or first day. Now that we have all of our products lined up, the next thing that you would probably be thinking of is, I now want to roster my students. And this is something very, very interesting. And one of the things that I want to know to you first is you would probably want to have this conversation with your teachers. You probably want to have this conversation with your principals, your school IT team, that who is going to be the one rostering the student. And my best recommendation for you is you keep it to one person at the school or two people at the school to be responsible for delivering all the information regarding rostering and or rostering the students yourself as well. There are a few options here. Either the school rosters the students and you can always contact our support team. We're always here to support you. Or we roster the students for you, in which we can do it in no time. We have a huge team to support the rostering. One of the first things that you want to align with your teachers is who's going to be the one rostering. So if you have a line that McGraw Hill team is going to be the one rostering your students, then the next step is to communicate to your teachers, then please, when you have access to your account, please do not add the courses to your account now. Please let us do it for you so that we don't have to go back and forth between which license have already been consumed, which teacher has already created a class and all of that. We usually do not take too long in terms of rostering. So all the rostering will be ready for you in no time. All right, now that we have aligned who's going to be the one rostering, and assuming that we, as McGraw Hill, will be the one rostering for you, there are a few things that we would like to note for you. All right, so there are a few ways that you can actually roster your students to the system or roster the teachers to the system. I would go to manage class roster and show you really quickly. Again, oops, sorry. I'm going to go to import users and roster. Actually, okay. Since McGraw Hill is going to be the one doing the rostering for you, I'm just going to walk you through this really quickly. I'm not going to touch too much about this, But one of the things that we would do is we would actually download the blank template, fill in all the information that you have sent over to us, and then we would upload the file accordingly. Once the file has been uploaded, we would be able to check the upload history, see if the rostering was successful or was it completed with errors. If anything was completed with errors, we would be able to check what the errors are by exporting the Excel list, and then all the errors will be reported in the last column, in which we would be able to correct and then re-upload the students again. Okay, but since McGraw Hill is going to be the one taking care of the rostering for you, you do not need to worry about this at all. But the next thing that I'm going to be walking you through is I'm going to be showing you, and I'm so excited to be showing you this, the new rostering template that we have created for you to make things a lot simpler and easier for you. All right, so now I'm going to be switching my tab over to rostering, my McGraw Hill rostering template 2025 to 2026 academic year. This particular rostering template should be sent to you with your back to school communication emails. If you have not received it, that's completely normal. That's completely okay. That's probably because your back to school date is a little bit out in August or in early September, or even for late July. But for late July, you should probably already receive your email already. If you have not, that's completely okay. We'll go through the checklist after this, and we'll make sure that we send everything over. But this template is made so that things are much, much more easier for you to navigate. All right, so assuming that McGraw Hill is the one rostering the students for you and you have received this template, then what are the next steps that you want to take? There are two tabs. There are student tab, and then there's also the teachers rostering tab. One of the first thing that you wanted to do is you probably want to go to the teachers tab. Again, as I mentioned to you, a lot of the schools actually prefer to roster the teachers first because they want the teachers to have access to their licenses first so they can prep for their lessons, they can prep the assignments, they can prep the assessments accordingly for the next year. A few things that you have to fill in for us. You would start to notice that there are a few tabs with a star sign on it. Those are the tabs that are required. Anything else that has no star sign next to the column, you do not need to provide us those information if you do not want to. Of course, we would prefer if you fill in all the information, but again, you do not have to, you do not want to. Okay. So let's go through the tabs with the star signs on them first. So the first thing is, of course, the teacher's first name, the teacher's last name, the teacher's email address. It is required for all teachers to have an email address, although it will not be required for the students, but I'll walk you through the student tab in just a few seconds. So again, first name, last name, emails. Username you do not have to provide for us. We would assume that if you do not fill in the username, all the teachers' username would be their email address. Password you do not need to be providing for us. We will create our list of passwords for you, and then we'll send it over with our confirmation email. You might potentially want to list if this account is existing or this account is new. Let's say that this account is new, then that's easy. We'll create something completely new for the teacher. But let's say that they are an existing account, and you probably have heard about this before. Every single existing account under the McGraw Hill system has something we call a user ID, or you also might hear we refer to it as a GUID as well. You do not need to worry about this. All you need to worry about is listing whether the teacher is existing or new, and then we will match those particular existing accounts with the existing GUID. So we make sure that when we upload the rostering template, it does not duplicate the account. Okay, so again, user ID, existing new account. If you do not know, that's completely okay. We can also help check you on the back end as well. Last two columns that will be very, very important for you to fill in are the grade and section that the teachers will teach, in which there could be multiple, right? Because one teachers might be teaching multiple grades and sections. So make sure that you list out the grades and you also list out the sections of the grades as well, such as 5A, 5B, 5C, and all that apply. Last but not least is you want to list the course that the teacher will be assigned to. And again, this could be multiple ones as well. You want to list out exactly what the courses are called, such as review math. If it's Alex, you receive additional instruction and steps as well that you have to list out the course name. Is it Inspire Biology? Is it Inspire Chemistry and all of that? Again, you want to fill in only the tabs on all the columns with the star sign. Anything else you can leave blank. Okay, so that's the teacher tab. Now let's get into the student tab. All right, so the students one looks a little bit different. So there's the student user ID. Again, the student might not have this if they do not have an existing account. The role you do not have to fill in. Please fill in the student first name, the student last name, and the grade section. Students are not required to have an email address. The student are not required to have a created username. We can create these for you. Password again is optional. We can create the passwords for you and send it over with a confirmation. And last but not least, but the most key and important is the class and section and the program. It has to match the exact program that they're going to be using very similarly to the teachers, and the grade and section has to match what is on the teacher's sheet. That is why we would highly recommend for you to fill in the teacher's sheet first before you fill in the student information. You can send the teacher's information to us separately in this tab, and then once the student information is ready within the first week of school or the second week of school, please go ahead and send this to us. We will roster the students for you accordingly. Okay, so that's the rostering file. Everything comes with an instruction. So you'll also receive these instructions as well. If you have any questions, again, you can view the instructions, or you can also reach out to your local DLCs as well, and we will assist you with all your questions accordingly. We do not expect the student information to be final, but we hope to receive the latest and the most updated version of the student list as possible. And I understand that in the first few weeks of school, students drop out of class, they rejoin another class, they drop out of the rejoin class, and then rejoin the old class again, you name it, right? All the different scenarios that can happen within the first few weeks of school. That's completely okay. We're here to support you. And there's some very easy edits that you can also do on your admin portal as well. Okay, so that's the rostering sheet. Now I'm actually going to go back to my admin account, and then I will show you the next step that you would probably want to check. Now that the McGraw Hill team has accessed your account and import all your users, let's assume that we have rostered both students and teachers. The next thing that you would be able to do is you will be able to manage your class roster. All right. So now you are able to edit each class with your student rostering in case there are any changes throughout the way. But the classes that will exist on this particular page, like all these classes, are classes that have already been rostered through import user / roster. But now let's assume that you already have a class, and I'm going to be using my Alex Trial Algebra 1 class as an example. I will click, let's say that I have teachers rejoining the class and student rejoining the class. Then how do I edit the class roster individually and easily, right? And I promise this is very, very easy. I would go to manage class roster. I would go to the class that I have that I would like to make changes for. I will click the 3 dots and I will click edit roster, and you always have to do it twice. I am not sure why, but you always have to do it twice. Now you would be able to edit the student roster and also edit the teacher's roster as well. As you can see right now, we already have one teacher rostered to the class, and let's assume that that's the teacher that we want to have on our system. Now let's go to the student tab, and let's say that our scenarios is we want to add more students to this particular class. I will click edit student roster. There are a few options you can do. Either you can add the student from an existing student roster list that we have uploaded before, or you can also create new student through this particular option as well. Make sure that once you have put in all the student information, you click save, and make sure that any of the students that you create through create new student tab is not an existing student. If they are an existing student, they probably have an account under add existing students already. You can scroll through this, you click the plus sign, and then you have this particular student on the class roster, and make sure you click save class roster as well. And now, because we don't have an existing license, so the student was not added, but if you click save, now the students will be added to the course accordingly, and there should be no issue at all. Okay, so now we have gone through manage products, we have gone through the rostering template, we have gone through the manage class roster. One of the last things that I want to show you on the system is I want to talk about the deletion process, in which is completely optional. Before the academic year starts, and if this applies to you, the team will reach out to you asking whether or not you want to go through a deletion process, in which is a process where the student's accounts will be deleted. Well, the final result is completely up to you and it's totally customizable. We will check in with you first. We will not go through the process without checking with you. We will check in with you on what is your preferred results. Most schools actually prefer to remove all the student information and keep the teacher's information along with the classes that they taught for last year, but those in an archive mode. Once you have confirmed with us that you want to remove all the student information, so the rostering for next year is very, very easy and all the student accounts will be new, we will process those deletion process with the US team. And then once everything is ready, we'll let you know and we'll roster the students for you accordingly. The purpose of the deletion process is we want to start from a clean slate, right? If any of the student accounts is an existing, we will have to go through the process of matching the GUIDs, in which we can we can definitely do for you. But if we start from a clean slate, all the student accounts will be completely new, and then we will not have to risk duplicating any of the students' account. But again, if this is a process that school does not prefer, we can again match the GUIDs and create this and match the student account accordingly and roster them to their appropriate classes. That's no problem at all. Yeah, so that's the case with the deletion. Again, you should receive an email from our team about the deletion process, checking in with you if this applies to you. And last thing that I also want to mention as well is if your school is an integrated school, meaning the students are locking in or the teachers are locking in through Canvas or Toddle or Google Classroom, this particular rostering process does not apply to you because you will be using something called one roster file. If you have any additional questions about that, please contact us and we'll provide more information. But again, if you are an integrated school through Toddle, Canvas, Google Classroom, or any sort of integration or a separate LMS, this rostering process will not apply to you. And we'll check in with you further on the instructions about that. Okay, all righty. So that's our admin portal and everything should be all good to go. The next thing that you would probably want to do is once you have finished all the beautiful rostering and the students are accessing their classes, doing their assignments, doing their assessments, a few weeks have passed and now you want to export some reports. This is a very, very interesting aspect and something that McGraw Hill has made easy for you. So let me then show you all the access and all the reports that you will have under the McGraw Hill platform. Okay, all right, so the first things that you'll have access to is something we call a usage reports, in which you are able to export if your school has data already. So a few things that you'll have access to is you'll be able to check if your teachers are consistently using the platform, or if your students are consistently using the platform through the usage report. Since we do not have any students using this just yet, we do not have any information about this just yet. The next thing that you would probably want to check is you can actually export the performance report, in which you are able to create this particular report by each title or each course, or you can also refine it by each class, or you can also do every single classes combined. And you can also choose which assignments you want to generate the reports for. And this takes a little bit of time to load. Once you have chosen all of the information, you can also choose the start date and also the end date of the report. And then now you'll be able to click generate the report. And I'm so sorry, the loading time is a little bit long. Let's just wait a few seconds. Okay, so let me go do my checklist, go all the reports, yada, yada, yada. So I'll be good to go. I'm gonna reload this real quick and then here's where it will help. Okay, we should be back in just a few seconds. Okay, perfect. Now is showing us all the performance report that we have exported before. You can export this yourself as an admin, but you can also ask the McGraw Hill team to help generate these reports for you. That's completely up to you for you to choose. The next thing that I would probably want to check in with you about now that we have talked about the usage report and also the performance report is who then has access to export all these beautiful reports. I will go back to manage users and I will actually use my account as an example. So I will go to Ko-Fi. All right, I will use my account as an example. I will click the three dot right here and click edit staff. And then you will start to notice a few information. You'll start to notice that there is an organization admin, there's a reporting admin, and there's also a curriculum admin. One person can be assigned to all. That's completely okay. But let's say you choose for each person to only have access as an organization admin, or only have access as a reporting admin, or only have access to the curriculum administrator. What are the differences between these things? All right, I have created a short presentation for you so that you can easily understand it. So I'll share you my screen with my presentation in just a few seconds. But again, I wanted to remind you that all the staff, you can edit their roles at any time. Usually one school only has a few admins, so they only have maybe one or two. But let's say that you want to add more, you can always click add role and everything accordingly. You can also remove roles. You can assign people as teachers. You can unassign people as teacher. That's completely up to you. And it's very, very easy to be done. Okay, let me check. Oh, I see that we have received quite a few questions. So we'll get right into the questions shortly. We're pretty good on time. So again, what are the differences between the org admin and the reporting admin and the curriculum admin? I will show you the differences through a presentation. All right, so again, there are three types of administrators. What you are is you're probably an organization admin in which you have access to all the reports. One of the key things about the organization admin is, one, you are managing the school's managed products. You are in charge of all the products. You know what products we have available, and you are controlling the licenses. Very, very important. Secondly, you are able to edit the managed users. You are able to roster the students. You are able to edit the student information. You are able to edit the staff information. So those are the key roles of an organization administrator. Secondly, is a reporting admin. So let me go through this. Again, this is what an organization admin is going to see. It's exactly identical to what we were just viewing.
student information, staff information. You can toggle in between. You can manage the users. You can help edit their passwords. You have access to all the reports. You have access to the managed product page. Very good. Organization admin, check, ready to go. Secondly, if this particular staff person only has access as a reporting administrator, they will only see the options to export the reports, all types of reports, but they will not be able to edit and manage the products or manage the users. So you'll notice the differences between the org admin, in which they can see the manage users page right when they log in. But right when the reporting admin logs in, they're going to see the usage report page first, and then they'll see the performance report, my tools, administrator dashboard, and all of that accordingly afterwards. So that's the access that the reporting admin has. Usually schools would assign the reporting admin, that would be like the curriculum head or the department head would be the reporting admin, but anyone in the IT team might potentially be assigned as the organization admin. Okay, so organization admin, good to go. Reporting admin, good to go. Last, but of course not least, is the curriculum administrator. The curriculum administrator has a very specific role in which they can, one, have access to our platform, our admin access to really share the curricular resources, create assessment, create test banks, create assignments if they prefer, all of this, and they will be able to assign it to each course individually. But again, they will not have access to any of the managed products or the reports. They would only have access as someone who would be creating those assessments and test banks for the school. And this could be one person, this could be multiple people. This is completely up to you. If you have any further questions about all the reporting types, please feel free to reach out to us and we will answer your questions accordingly. Alrighty, okay. Now that we have covered the managed products, rostering, the templates, manage your class rosters, now I have created a few scenarios for us to walk through when you receive these particular questions. And I promise you will definitely receive these questions within the first 2 weeks of school. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to go back to my admin page, and then I will give you different scenarios. Okay, let's say the first scenarios is, oops, let me relog into my account. Give me a few seconds. Okay, perfect. So the first scenarios that I want to show you is what happens when a student wants to move in between classes. As an administrator, what can you help these students to move in between their classes? So again, I would go to manage class roster, of course, because I know this student is in an existing class already. I will go to the class in which I want to move the student to. I would click edit class roster. You always have to click it twice. I will click edit student roster, and then I will find those students accordingly. And then I will see their student right here, and then I will click save roster. And now the student has been moved to a new class. There is a potential you probably want to go back to the old class and also remove the students from those classes as well. But I would recommend for you to move the student to the new class first before you remove the student from an existing class. Okay, all right, so that's our first scenario. Second is I have one student joining and I want to roster that student manually. I don't want to go through the template. I don't want to go through McGraw Hill team to help me with this because there's only one student and I can do it easily. I will go to manage users and I will go under the student tab, and this applies to staff as well. I will click create student, put in all the information, first name, last name, grade level, email address is not necessary, password, school, and student ID if applicable. And then I will click save. Now I have created a new student account without going through the template, without going through the McGraw Hill team. Again, we would prefer if this is done by the school admin and that we keep this exclusive to the school admin. Okay, perfect. I will show you two more scenarios and then we'll get into the Q&A because I know we have quite a few questions. Third scenarios is I have a student who forgot their password. How do I edit their password? How do I help them edit their password? So what I would do first is I would, again, go to managed users. I would go and locate that particular student account. In this case, I have many student accounts under my name. And then I will click this particular three dots again. I'll click edit student. And then now I can help the student edit their password. I can put in their password manually. Again, this very option, you will not be able to retrieve your student's old password, but you would be able to change their password. Once the password has been changed by you, please click save, and now you are able to send a new password to your student accordingly. Okay. All right. So I think those are all the awesome scenarios that we have put together. As a quick reminder, you want to choose who's going to be the one taking care of the rostering for you. If the McGraw Hill team is going to be the one completing the rostering for you, you'll complete the McGraw Hill rostering template 2025 to 2026. And then with all your student information, if you have it already, but mostly we'll prioritize adding the teachers first. When that's done, send it over to us by email. We'll roster in no time. We'll send back the confirmed username and password, and everybody should be able to log in accordingly. Okay. Again, there are three types of org admins. There's the organization admin, there's the reporting admin, there's the curriculum admin. Okay, I think we have covered absolutely every single thing. Then now we have exactly 15 minutes left, which is perfect. Let's get into the questions and answer them accordingly. All right. Can you try? Oh, is this the right? Okay, so someone is asking if they are accessing their admin account through the correct link. And that's such a good question. Always remember with the K through 12 courses, you would be logging in through, and I'll type it out, my.meducation.com/login. You would be logging in through this particular link. The students will be logging in through the same link. The teachers will be logging in through the same link. Everybody will be logging in through the same link. But there are different cases, and this is very rare. If you're only using Reading Lab Online, you will then be logging in through the Reading Lab Online. If you are using our products on All Sorts, you will be logging in through All Sorts. Every other course is listed through my.meducation.com/login. Very, very good. Okay. Will there be a recording? Yes, there will be a recording. And none of this upload process will apply to, okay, yes. Again, with integration, the rostering process is done through something we call One Roster. And we have our awesome integration team to help support with that. You probably heard about their name before. Their name are Connor and our amazing Rowan. They are very helpful and they will be able to help you with your rostering through One Roster if you have any questions about that. Okay, those are all of our questions. Anybody else have any other questions? Anything else that I can help address? Anything else? A few scenarios that you'll probably see in the first few weeks of school is, rostering, editing the password of a few people, Again, you as an admin, if you do not know your username and password, that's completely okay. Please enjoy your summer and drop us an email and we'll send you your username and then your new updated password to you via email or encrypted email. Okay, all right. I think those are all the questions. We have 10 minutes left. If anybody has any questions during this time, please feel free to submit the questions. Yeah, so last thing that I would be showing you is I'll go back to my presentation. And I'll show really quickly about what each report and analytics is going to look like. And I'll also check the questions on this way, making sure no one else has any other questions. You'll see like the usage report, and then you'll also see the performance report, and then you'll also be able to see the report by each assignment and each assessment. That really depends on how you choose to generate those particular reports. So you should be able to send these report over to the appropriate people that have requested the reports, such as teachers, the school curriculum administrator, or the department head and all of that. So should be good to go in terms of the reporting and analytics. Again, most of the time we would encourage the students to use the assessment and the assignments as an online assessment and assignment so that the system will have enough information to generate the reports for you. So that's something very, very important to also note as well. All right. Last but not least is I want to show you the contact information of our DLC team, Asia. Again, if your school is not located in Asia, you're more than welcome to reach out to us, and then we will direct you to the right representative, the right DLC for you. So your digital learning consultant, Asia, you have me, Kaofang, and then you also have Mr. Jamie, who's also in this call as well, who's going to be helping you with any of the questions. Please feel free to ask us any questions at any time. There's no silly questions, and there's no request that we cannot help you with. Either we help you with those requests or we direct you to the right representative to help you with those questions. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session.